Hey guys, Colinator coming at you live from AlphaVicely, and today I'm going to be doing something a bit different. I haven't done it in a while, but I've not made a rant video in a long time. So today I'm going to make a rant video, and today's discussion, or I guess topic, is going to be about season passes, microtransactions. It's little things the gamer is going to have to deal with nowadays in the gaming industry. So first off, I wanted to say, if you don't know what the problem is itself, is that when games are being made, things like that. Nowadays, it's very common to buy a game that's not really complete. What I mean by that is that, like, so you pay $60, $60 of your hard-earned money on a game, and you find out like the content's missing, or maybe it does have a lot of content. Maybe it has a good amount of content actually, after all, but the developers or the publisher, basically, as soon as you open up their webpage to go buy this game, you find it's like season pass, $60, buy now for DLC in game itself. The main problem with that is that most of the time, when the game is made itself, it may not be fully complete, as in it's missing some content that developers wanted to put in themselves, things like that. But the real actual problem is that we've gotten to the point in the gamers' lives and industry itself, it's like now it's acceptable to like make a half-completed game, sell it for full price of $60, and then just be like, oh, it's okay, we're gonna add it later as DLC or like later content, things like that. Now, I myself, I can give you a pretty good example actually. The most recent game I can think of is Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront itself, $60 game created by EA, probably one of the most hyped up titles of I'd probably say at least 2015, at least for me. I was really hoping and expecting a lot more from EA coming about the game itself. However, the game underdelivered completely, giving absolutely unacceptable design, I guess, quality of content it provided. So for example, in the game itself, instead of having about, because what people were piping up about the game was going to have a lot of content. It's oh, I can't wait to have so much fun in this game. Only problem is, the game is limited down to about 10 to 12 weapons total. Imagine in a whole Star Wars shooter, just 10 to 12 weapons total, right? And then another problem is, it's just like the game modes itself just wasn't a lot. Like, you had maybe about 10 or 11 game modes, but I think the main problem I had with the game was the maps that you had. You had 4 maps that you would play on. You'd play on these 4 maps all together, and on the maps, it basically was like 4 giant maps, but then cut down into maybe 6 or 7 maps, really, but from the same 4 maps. And they would use some of the other game modes for those other smaller parts of the map itself. Now, I don't like that because it shows you can already see lack of content already. Anyone who was hyped up for the game about it, anyone who's played it the day of release, things like that, they're already tired of the game. It does not take long to get tired of this game. You play in the same 4 levels with the same 12 guns. Not to mention, to get guns in the game requires you to get in-game credits, which is basically just like the Star Wars Battlefront currency. However, to get these credits requires levels, and it requires money credits as well. However, the publisher, developer, EA, or just actually the game design itself, is so stingy about the credits itself, is that leveling up, getting weapons is going to be one long grind. Now, grinding is nothing new when it comes to games, because we've already seen this before in popular titles like Battlefield, Call of Duty, things like that. We've already seen this, even in the new Halo, even in older Halos, if you're considering like Halo Reach. It's not Halo Reach, but Halo 4, I know, definitely had that system. But it's nothing new. The only problem is it's so stingy, like it could take literally days to weeks to get one weapon itself. In Call of Duty, let's think about it here. The first 10 levels, like the first, in most Call of Duties, like the first few levels, you can't make a class, things like that, because they want you to play the game a little bit, things like that. That's fine. However, even at level 10 within the new Call of Duty Black Ops 3, you can already unlock brand new weapons. Like, you feel, you basically are rewarded for playing the game immediately. There's immediate gratification. Only problem with Star Wars Battlefront is that it's such delayed gratification It's not like really good delayed gratification, like, you know, graduating from a 4-year college, things like that. It's like wasting my time to get so little things. Because, you know, if I graduate from a 4-year college, obviously you have a bachelor's degree, you can get a job now, helps you get a pay raise, things like that. That's great delayed gratification. But to be able to grind hours to days to weeks to get one weapon in this game out of the 12 weapons you can get, which doesn't really help me a lot, is a bit ridiculous. Especially since some of the weapons in the game, you can, like one of the weapons I know, one of the Han Solo's pistol, you can get that with the pre-order bonus, or I believe season pass, one of the two. I haven't done too much research on that myself. I just know it's in the game. But you would get this gun immediately from pre-ordering or from a season pass itself, which I don't like when things like that happen. Because the Han Solo pistol is actually the most overpowered weapon you can get, and that's fine to be able to pre-order it and get like some sort of bonus out of it. But to be able to achieve, to be able to get this weapon in-game requires such time and to consume to get into the game itself is not, it's just not good. It takes way too long for the build-up of that to even happen. Like, if it takes me, you know, like, think about it. I like, you know, gamer, you know, we don't really, like, we play a lot of games. We might play the same game a lot for quite some time. However, you may become bored of a game, you know, within a week if you play it constantly. Battlefront, personally, I was really expected to get this game. I did not want to get this game anymore. After I saw any review about it, ever realizing the content that came out in the game itself, I am completely not going to get Battlefront. And I'm actually very disappointed. A lot of developers, like I was just thinking about this the other day, how a lot of developers are moving towards this path of pushing out basically pushing out a half-ass game, get half-ass results, and making the season pass, which is supposed to give you DLC, right? And everyone thinks it's okay, and it really is not okay at all whatsoever. Like I fully believe when you make the game, it should come out either fully done. Like, you know, if I pay $60 for the game, I expect $60 worth of content. I don't expect $10 worth of content. I don't expect $20 worth of content. I expect a full-blown $60 worth of content. I want to be able to keep playing this game and love the game for the hard-earned money that I put into the game itself, right? I gave the developers money, and for whatever reason, they don't want to do that or do anything with the money itself, which I think is really sad. Personally, probably from a business standpoint, I can probably already see why games like this do this. I can already see it. We have quotas you have to meet, right? There's quotas you have to meet in all these games, or not quotas, but like for pre-ordering. There's quotas you have to meet. And these quotas are like pre-order orders. Basically, you know, when EA gives you this much money, they expect this many pre-orders. They expect like 1 or 2 or 3 million pre-orders. And then that's good. Once you hit the quota, at least from a publisher or business standpoint, it almost doesn't matter how well the game is, since you've already guaranteed 3 million copies are sold. But I don't care about your fucking quota. Your quota means nothing to a consumer standpoint, because it's fine if 3 million people pre-ordered your game, but what about post-order sales, right? What you really want is post-order sales. Pre-order sales is a good burst of money to reassure you're on the right track to doing something, but really post-order sales is what's going to keep the game alive. It wants you to make a sequel for it, wants you to make more DLC for it, wants you to get microtransactions into the game, right? Because sure, you may have had about $3 million in pre-order sales up to that point making Star Wars Battlefront. But if the week it comes out, everyone bashes on it, everyone says don't buy it, and you make over, let's say that EA sells the game like for 5 years, which we all know it probably would sell longer, because, you know, Mass Effect's been out for so long, they sell that too. But let's just say they sell it for 5 years. If your post-order sales over 5 years is only 1 million sales, that's not good. That is atrocious. You don't, like, at least from my understanding, you want good post-order sales. Over a 5-year period, you're only generating 1 million sales. That game would be considered a failure. Of course, how the gaming industry's lifespan is for most games, it's mainly that 1 year comes out. It's kind of its lifespan, or the first 365 days it comes out is its lifespan. So, With that in mind, you want to make sure you have a game that keeps your players and your gamers and everyone involved into it all the time, round the clock. Because, well, let's think about it. You get all these servers for the game, multiplayer wise, things like that, especially for Battlefront where it's a multiplayer only game. Get all these servers support tons of people during launch, things like that. But now, of course, it's pretty obvious, within about the first month or so, the hype will die down for the game itself, no matter how good it is, except for, there's obviously exceptions to this, but obviously you're not going to need all those servers anymore, but you want a lot of players, you want them to keep coming back. That's why Battlefield 4 still has, I think they still have monthly patches. Like last time I remember, they actually updated something back in September, and that came out 2013, so they're still keeping their players in the game itself. But when you start doing this microtransaction thing, you have to buy the complete the game thing, it really pushes a lot of consumers away from you. Especially, in economic times, things like today, it is not good to do this. And it's actually unacceptable. And it's completely outrageous that they even think it's okay to do this. Why are we letting developers just release half-assed products for full price and they just get away with it? And that encourages other games to do the same thing. Many other games, Battlefront's not the only game that does this. Many games have done this. Batman, I believe the new Batman game that came out, that was by Warner Bros. That was so bad they had to pull it off of Steam because people were asking for refunds way too much. They were losing money within hours of the release. For releasing a $60 game that was not even half-assed. It was that the quality of the game was not good. The gameplay itself was fine. If you play it on consoles, it's, as far as I know, on console it's okay. But on PC, it did not work at all. It was not optimized. People could literally not play it. Like, you literally could not play your $60 game. Not because your computer couldn't run it, but because the game was so badly optimized, it just wouldn't launch. Or if it did launch, it'd have poor frame rate, regardless if you bought a lot of graphics cards on your computer, or if you're using like a really low power laptop, it just was going to run bad. And it's not acceptable to do this. You can't make a game, hype up the pre-orders, things like that, get pre-order bonuses, everything, talk about all the features you have in the game, but when you release it, it doesn't even work. You can't do that. That's not how it works. Warner Bros. Definitely is a prime example of what happens when you release a half-ass game. You release it so bad, people ask for refunds, and then they have to stop accepting refunds. Just think about it. Name one other game that has done so bad that the company has stopped all refunds. I can't think of one other game. There might be another one that we never heard of, things like that, but the game was so bad, people were refunding it so much, they had to stop accepting refunds. Obviously, that shows a lot of lack of confidence in the game itself. They already know it's bad, and that, they've been patching it over the months, things like that. But I've heard people are still having problems with the game to this very day, and this game came out months ago. So that's almost a reason why companies should stop making shitty games like this. This is fucking ridiculous. Because obviously, if you lose money from it, you just shouldn't do it. Obviously, with the attention span of how gamers normally are for games like this, a game like Battlefront, or games that lack content but you have to buy a season pass for, I think a lot of us would agree, after knowing the results of the game itself, we would have probably been okay with delaying the game, right? I wanted Battlefront for a very long time. I wanted Battlefront 3 so bad. I'm like, oh, this game can't fail. You can't fail me now. Yeah, you just can't. You're doing some good things. They bounced back from all the shitty games they released before. Things like that. And I thought, honestly, if Battlefront were to just release, they would win. They would be pretty good. If EA would bounce back from all the negative hate they've gotten over the past years. But honestly, this capitalizes on more. Honestly, I almost don't want to buy any more EA games. This is ridiculous. So, that's really my main rant I want to talk about. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. I hope it kind of gave you a better perspective, at least what I'm thinking about on making all these game purchases, things like that. And you know, we had to make a decision with our wallets. Really, we shouldn't encourage companies to do this stuff, to release half-ass games, do what they always do, and just get away with all this shit that they just bring out. Okay. So, anyways, thanks again, guys, for watching my video. Please check out all the other content on youtube.com/AlphaVicely, as well as we do have a WordPress website, which can be found at alphavicely.com or at alphavicely.wordpress.com. Also, check out the affiliate links I'm going to put down below if you're into like fantasy esports. The Newegg, Black Friday deals are coming up pretty soon. You might want to check those out as well. Definitely supports us and gets the channel up and running, of course. And I'll see you guys later.